What's up, man?
What's up, dude?
I like the tank top and the mustache. I almost did a mustache. I just am too busy this week. I didn't get any grooming time.
Too busy for a mustache? You're never too busy for a mustache.
Apparently I am. But
Yeah,
looks good.
I feel like the mustache and the wife beater is a good combination. Although it's a tank top, but I'm gonna get some wife beaters here soon.
Yeah, it's the Philly vibe.
Yeah.
Forget about it.
That's New York, brother.
I don't know. I'm not from the
Forget
Northeast, so I don't
about
know.
it.
Forget about it.
The Philly
Gabagool.
dialect is one of the funniest dialects you'll ever hear, by the way. I'm not sure if I mean, I don't even really have it anymore, or maybe if I ever did, but because I made a conscious effort to not say like the word water, they'll say water.
Wooder.
Yeah, water ice. Like water ice, water ice. Oh, give me some water. You guys got any water?
It sounds intelligent. Top of the food chain. Very smart.
They wicked smart. Now we're in
Wicked smart.
Boston.
Again, dude.
All right,
I don't
dude.
know. I don't know.
How are we feeling? Feeling good?
Yeah, man, what a week. I thought we were gonna, probably chat about the conference and
Yeah.
post-conference highlights.
Yeah.
But this has been a whole other week of just, incredible news. Elon, Trump, the price dumping and then rebounding. Um, I'm having more fun than I think we're supposed to have.
I really can't believe it's been a week. Like when I think back to what I was doing last Friday, which right now I would have been in the air on the way back to Hawaii after the conference and just like exhausted and tired. And
Same.
yeah, and then for Friday to come along and then it's all this crazy stuff happens with Elon and Trump and the price movements and it feels like a month happened in this week.
Yeah, yeah. I don't think it's going to end. I think we're just going to keep getting hit with all of these events, right? And I want to think about them as being just natural events, right? It's just one thing happening in a linear fashion. But I also feel like some of this stuff is either staged or it's not real. The story that we're getting, like we're watching these two guys fight it out, like Godzilla and Kong, and just the markets and everything else is collateral damage. But I don't know. What do you think? Is this legit? Is this real?
I don't know. I think the only thing that gives me pause for it being a ruse is Elon accusing Trump of being on the Epstein list.
Yeah.
Because that's like too far. If it's just a ruse, right? That's like
I I mean, is it a 4D chess thing where
what
now
would be
the
the play?
Epstein list? Yeah, like exactly. I think Kash Patel, the FBI guy, was like, "We're going to release the entire list." And there have been many people who have speculated that, if Elon really thought he was on the list, he wouldn't have let his kid hang out with Trump. He wouldn't have been, so cozy with him. So the
Yeah.
whole thing could just be a psyop, you know?
I mean, everything we are kind of living just in one big psyop. I mean, to see Kash Patel and Bongino in that Fox interview like a couple few weeks ago,
Yeah.
comparing that to their tone on the Epstein files, we're going to release it. Everything's going to be released. And they go, no, I've seen the files. He killed himself. And you
Yeah.
can, and you're like,
No,
well, then if you've got nothing to hide and you looked at the evidence and you said he killed himself, then that should clear everything up. So release the damn files.
let's see the video. Yeah.
Yeah.
Was there a video? Oh, I thought the video feed got cut that night. Did it not get cut? Yeah, he totally walked into that one. That one was as embarrassing as, to change topics a little bit, but like whoever was inside Bezos's space capsule, Katy Perry or whoever, unlocks the door.
Yeah.
Obviously, it was a photo op, and then, it's they're trying to play us, but I just don't think you can do that anymore. Information moves too quick and people don't forget. They keep the receipts. So if you're going to lie to people, that has to be the hill you die on. And reputations are getting slaughtered, absolutely slaughtered.
Yeah, it's just such a shame to see Bongino especially like that. And you could see the way he delivered that information that he was lying,
Yeah.
that he knew he was lying. he knew, we knew he was lying. And he just sort of had to eat the bullet, bite the bullet on this one for whatever reason. Like there's threat of assassination or like who's
Yeah.
involved in this, like which other foreign governments could potentially want to use
Yeah.
this to hold over your head. And if you
Yeah.
value
There's,
your life, right? Like, I don't know.
yeah, there's stuff you're not allowed to say. And it doesn't matter if you're, leading up a big government agency, there are things that you are not permitted to say. And I think, or it's like we're heading into consequences. I mean, it's all very serious. At the end of the day, we can laugh about it on social, but what's going on in the world comes with circumstances that you're not going to get out of, so you better shut your mouth
Well, thank
and
God for Bitcoin.
get in line. Yeah, no, I agree. We can opt out. We can just have a 4 year, 10-year time horizon and, not really care what the price is doing. We can be entertained by it or, buy some sats when it dips, but we don't have to be part of the $36 trillion Ponzi scheme, that is the US government.
Yeah, there is the Orange Party movement. I think that's the thing that's coming out of this. You see all the Bitcoiners talking about that with this fallout between Elon and Trump, and Elon putting out that poll, do we need a third party? And 80% plus people saying yes. Bitcoiners shouting the Orange Party, the Bitcoin Party, right? This is the way to go. It feels like a moment. It feels like a moment in time. And I think it can be overwhelming to want to fix the world right now, but to keep our sanity and to live happy lives, I think the best thing to do is just to buy Bitcoin, never sell it, focus on building a business, focus on raising a family, and connecting with like-minded individuals that are hopefully Christ followers.
It's so
And
simple.
and then those things
So
will
simple.
just the magic around that will just like grow and grow and then it'll work itself out.
Yeah, I love the idea, and I saw Eric Kaysen talk about the Orange Party and tag Elon. I would 100% be a single issue voter on Bitcoin.
Yeah.
I would want the 80% of people who are in the middle or whatever you want to call it. I would love for them to be Bitcoiners, but there's probably a ton of gold bugs and normies and 401k people and people that are just W-2 employees that aren't starting businesses that are just trying to make ends meet. And are they going to go against Trump and Vance and for an orange party? I think that it is an opportunity for someone to suck the oxygen out of the room. I don't know that it'll be Bitcoin. I feel like we're too small,
It wouldn't be a
but
winning party, that's for sure.
it could be powerful,
Yeah.
and if
Enough to
Bitcoin,
lobby, right? Enough to
yeah,
like move the needle, right? But kind
yeah,
of like what we saw though before, where it was like, yeah, the Bitcoiners and the libertarians, Trump catered to both of them because that maybe equated to a couple percent of a swing in the votes.
yeah, yeah, he got New Hampshire because of those dudes.
Yeah.
So you could see that there is political power. It's not at its apex today, but I think if Bitcoin were to go to 500, 750, a million, now we are drawing in a larger portion of that 80%. Now we're drawing people in who, like what Bitcoiners stand for, which is individualism, sovereignty, truth, freedom, like that stuff appeals to everybody. I think if you're being honest.
I think
And
that's
then
it. Yeah.
yeah, add the money portion to it where, everybody in our party is loaded, locked and loaded. That would be an unstoppable force.
Yeah.
I think maybe we're 4 years away from that. Maybe we're 8 years, probably four, 4 years. I think it could be a very different political environment if the United States still exists, if we're still around. I mean, I'm, you know, to I'm seeing headlines about, nuclear war threats based on, I don't know, shadow people within the government not telling the president Trump what's going on over in Ukraine and the escalation there that's happened and, some people over there running their own sort of military campaign without the commander in chief.
Yeah, well,
So,
Lindsey Graham's on the ground, right, into Ukraine.
yeah,
Like, what the
so
fuck? Why,
look out, dude.
apparently, like, costs like a $500,000 for him to stay there for a few nights too. Okay.
Oh man, what if they revoked his passport and he can't
That'd
come
be,
back?
that'd be beautiful. Dude, look, we need to get back to the way that this country was. I was in this beef with this immigrant on X, someone that came to this country, I don't know, illegally or legally 40 years ago, and he had his position was that he's an American because he's got citizenship, and it doesn't matter if he has dual loyalties to other countries, and he's been here for 40 years, and he's American because he lives here. And it's like too many of these post 1965 immigration folks that came here have that same mentality, which is pre 1965. It was all about you're coming from, Europe, uh, you're coming from places like Italy, Germany, Poland, wherever. But wherever you came from, if you were Slavic, didn't matter. You were trying your best to assimilate to be American, and you did not have dual loyalties back to your other country. You came here and you wanted nothing more than to prove that you were American, and you realized that it was going to take multiple generations to be considered American. And
Yeah,
you know that so you assimilated to this like largely Anglo-Protestant culture that is foundationally America. And then after 1965, they changed a bunch of these immigration rules. They changed the this whole idea of assimilation and everything. And then you had 10x the number of immigrants coming from like South America, from Mexico, from Asia, without any concerted effort to assimilate them to the dominant American culture. And so then you had these folks with this mentality is like, no, like I'm in America, so I'm an American. It's like, no, dude, you came here, you wanted to come here because of the values of the Anglo-Protestant values. That's what makes this country so incredible, is right, you have this Enlightenment era Lockean mentality overlaid with largely Protestant
right.
religious undertones. And that's what makes this place great. But then you want to come here and bring your culture here and have loyalties to another country, and you just mess it all up. There's no such thing as this melting pot bullshit. It doesn't work. And so like what so the other end of that is, well, so if you don't want to assimilate here, that means that you just expect people to assimilate to your culture, to like respect your culture, but you won't respect the dominant culture. Like a nation state has a responsibility to protect its people, to protect its culture. And so when you frame it that way, then it's like an attack vector on American ideals, right? And I think that's what we're seeing. You'd say like, are we going to have a country in 4 years? There's the nuclear threat, but there's also this like nuclear cultural threat. You see politicians in
Yeah,
New York that are from, the Middle East speaking in Arabic or whatever, in their whatever their candidate promotion videos you see on social media. It's like, what the hell happened? Right?
right.
I mean, you got Somalian influence in Minneapolis, right?
Yeah.
You got like, and you got dual citizenship. No, if you want to be here, you've got to renounce any loyalties to other countries, and you need to focus on making America better, and that's it.
Yeah,
So
well said.
I
Well
don't know.
said. I
My
think
my, my rant for today, I guess.
no, it was a good rant. And I like, my head is like, well, okay, how do we solve it? How do we do that? I don't have the answer to that because I think you are seeing people that want to form their own communities within America. And there are lots of cities that are like that. And it's a shame. How do we make American ideals more attractive? I don't know. I think Americans need to be the best examples of what we can be. I don't think that we are. I think that we've kind of gone off the rails in a lot of ways. So
Well, yeah.
how do we solve the problem? I don't know. It's a big problem. I think we just have to outrun every other culture. America is about freedom. It is about individual choice, individual sovereignty, property ownership. Owning property is the foundation of freedom. And this is, America is one of the few places where you can do that. You could take a 30-year loan to buy a home, and have a fixed interest rate. Many countries, Canada included, they don't do that. You get a 5-year loan, and then housing becomes unaffordable, and then it's impossible to put your roots down. So I think we have the best chance to display what does it mean to be an American. And I think that it's starting your own business. owning property, being active in your community, and raising a family, and passing that on to the next generation. But I don't think it's going to be fixed overnight. I think it's a multi-decade cultural shift. I think it's happening. We're seeing it happen as the woke culture gets destroyed, and it rightly so. And I think we're seeing it happen in places where, men who dress as women aren't allowed in women's sports, which
Yeah.
I think is great. We need that to be the norm again and ostracize those voices who think it's okay for a man to compete against women. It's wrong. It's just, I mean, you should be able to look at that and see how wrong it is.
Mhm.
Um, and so I think we're winning, but the risk is that we lose energy or that we get distracted or we're caught up in, you know, trying to make ends meet. And I can't focus on, making apple pie and go to the 4th of July parade because I got another job and I got to pay bills and my rent's due.
Yeah.
So it's a tough thing to solve. If we were to bring it back to Bitcoin, I would say that, other than faith in Christ, Bitcoin is the second best thing I think that could bring that about in our country. Over time, as your income increases or as your savings increase through Bitcoin, it, should give you the freedom to be able to do the things that we were able to do on a gold standard or when we had sound money. We don't. We don't have sound money. Our money is absolute garbage. So,
Yeah.
uh,
There are
we're
American pockets, right? There are pockets throughout America that
yeah,
like to adhere to the way that things used to be. So I think maybe it's a matter of just focusing on your own business. You can't fix the world, right? Individually. Uh,
right.
make enough money, saving in Bitcoin, and then move to the place that you want to move, build the community that you want to build, or move to the community that you want to be a part of, and just assimilate to that.
Yeah, it's the Amish have created a
Yeah.
great example for how you can be productive and, I mean, goodness, those people. I have newfound respect for them over the last 5 years.
Yeah, they're
Um,
wild.
you know,
Wild, man. They just like yeah, they put their foot down. No, we're not taking the vaccine. No, we're
yeah.
not we're not assimilating to like modern life. No, we're not using any of that bullshit. It's really honorable.
It is. It's not for me in all aspects. I mean, I love to be connected to the internet, and there's modern conveniences that I would find hard to give up. But when it comes to work ethic and creativity and family life and values, there are a lot of boxes that they are like 100% spot on.
Yeah.
The fashion choice is not for me either.
Yeah, I
Uh,
agree with you on that one.
but, anyway, I didn't think we'd be talking about Amish today.
What do
What
you
I
think about any takeaways from the Bitcoin conference?
Well, I was going to ask you, having been there, I had a great time.
Damn.
I didn't listen to too many presentations, but I would have said just the meeting of the plebs. Meeting plebs was fantastic. I love meeting people in person who I've talked to quite a lot over the last several years on Bitcoin Twitter, and getting to see them in real life was just totally worth the trip. But what would you say?
Same exact thing. Just connecting with other Bitcoiners, meeting a lot of the podcasters that I love to listen to, and just how approachable everyone was, right? It was this I don't know, just like an openness. So you can go up to Hodl and be like, "Yo, Hodl." He's like, "Oh, what the fuck's up?" You know? And hey, we have a couple hats. You want the hats? Yo, fuck yeah. And it's just the approachability uh was great to experience and making those connections on the ground. Yeah, and there's no substitute for that. We spend so much of our time on Twitter just memeing and all this back and forth and everything. So like to meet those people in real life was just such a gift.
Yeah, yeah, 100%. I got to tell you, I'm conflicted on next year because while it was cool being at the conference and it was a big party and a big show, and I'm sure there was signal in some pockets. I'm thinking about BitBlock Boom. It's happening
It's got to be
right at
one
the
or the
same
other.
time. I know I can't do both really. It's just too much travel, too much effort, and not enough,
Same.
not enough. I don't know. So I'm kind of thinking of going to the high signal, um, the one in Texas. I think it'll be in Fort Worth in April.
Yeah, I could be down. It's a shame that they're so close together.
Yeah.
Like I really want to be at both, but it's just not feasible. I think they're like 3 weeks apart, and I'm not ready for that gauntlet,
Yeah.
you know? So
Well, let me
let's
know
talk
what you
about
do.
that.
Yeah, yeah. Because I'd be open to going to either one, but as I was reflecting on it, um, I mean, shoot, I'd like to go to more, you know. I just enjoy meeting other Bitcoiners. It's it's incredible to talk to someone in real life that gets it the way you do and thinks about the world the way you do.
Yeah.
Um, that might be worth going to both, but
I think from just from a professional standpoint, I feel like I have to be in Vegas when I think about it. Like there's too many
yeah,
well-known reporters there and like TV shows and everything, and the value of connecting my clients with those folks is like really high. So it's like I think it's unavoidable for me.
yeah. Damn it. All right,
Like
fine.
I don't think it's a choice. I don't think I have a choice. I don't
I
think I
might
can.
just,
No, I'm
yeah,
not going to be in Vegas because so either it's two or it's just Vegas for me. I think I'll make that call now.
yeah. All right. Well, I guess I'll do Vegas.
All right, let's go.
I
Right
might
back.
go, yeah, I might go to BitBlock Boom though. I might get a bird flip table. It looked like it
Yeah,
was three grand for a table, and there's no way I'd sell that much merchandise. But
maybe we can split it.
yeah, you want to?
Bird
Okay.
Flip 21M Communications collab or Stack Show collab. I don't know.
Oh, I mean, either of those, any of those combinations sound good. Yeah, let's talk about that. I
Yeah,
think the table, I'd probably be in the bazaar at the Bitcoin conference. I'm not sure what those tables go for, but they're probably pricier.
I'd imagine. Yeah, I'd imagine. Well, um, I don't know. Good stuff.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
was good. I mean, what do you think? Should we buy Bitcoin?
Stack the sats. Let's do it. Yeah.
Like 2 days ago it was like $100
I
or
know.
100 grand.
Even yesterday, it would have been great, right? Yesterday,
I
if we could
know.
show at our scheduled time.
We're at 105, 104.5.
Yeah.
All
Uh,
right, I'm gonna buy 21
$21.
on strike.
We didn't stack any in Vegas.
I mean, it was kind of a missed opportunity, but at the same time, it was just hard to keep up with the pace, you know? I mean,
Too much going on, dude.
yeah, 12 hours on your feet and shaking hands and talking to everyone. It was extremely draining. All right, I got it. 21.
Same. Boom.
Nice.
Yeah,
The
I
one thing,
it took me a couple days just to get back, get right. Right. I mean,
yeah.
I was drinking beer like every day and every night.
I know.
Uh, I typically
No,
don't do
dude.
that. So that kind of runs me dry. My aura data, they got this biometric stuff
Are you doing that, huh?
for years, actually. It's been like 6 years.
Goodness. Dude,
Yeah,
they have your data.
I
They've
know.
got all your health data. What does it say?
Well, it was really bad. So my sleep scores were in like the 40s and the 50s during Vegas. And my resting heart rate's typically like low 50s,
Okay.
51, 50, 49. And it was in the 70s, resting heart rate.
Wow. So
So,
you're moving.
yeah, yeah, it was a lot, but it was worth it, man. And even this week, just like following up with guys that I connected with or we connected with in person. I reached out to like Ben. I was like, dude, great to meet you, and Madix and some other guys like Eric V Stacks, and just to say, hey, man, it was awesome to like finally connect. And it's a good feeling.
Yeah. Yeah. That was great. I agree. There were so many people that, after I think the second day, I felt okay just going up to him and introducing myself. That was fun. I
That's the
definitely
way
would
to
do that
do it.
more.
You just gotta go up. You just gotta be like, it's like when you're
Yeah.
younger, you gotta ask a girl out. You know,
Exactly.
hey, what's your name? But yo, I know you.
Yeah, it was good. Whose presentation do you think got the most buzz?
Mm, actually, probably Jack Mahler's, maybe not the most positively, but in terms of like the after effects of it. I think a lot of people are just talking about the whole lending thing, and I don't think it's been great for maulers, you know.
Yeah, I
Um,
agree.
so it's got a lot of attention, but obviously Ross.
Yeah. Yeah, I thought Ross was powerful. Yeah, with Jack, I mean, you and I talked about it, but everybody wants your Bitcoin and they've been taking him to task over rehypothecation in the terms of service. So
Yeah. If it's
the
in
thing
terms of service, I mean, it's there. You can say
is,
anything you want, but
yeah, you can wear whatever hoodie you want, dude. You're not a pleb if you're rehypothecating people's Bitcoin.
I,
I I just think lending has to be such a dangerous thing. You're looking for a little bit of relief in your life. You take a loan, but you got to pay that loan back. It's not free money. And the way that the marketing feels is like this is totally secure. You'll get your Bitcoin back, but man, life is tough. And I just wonder sometimes if you're really in a pinch, sell some sats and replace them. I wouldn't want to do that, but I wouldn't personally take a loan out against my Bitcoin. I mean,
no, you
at that
never know
point,
where you get a 50% or 80% swing
yeah,
down.
yeah, you get liquidated. Yeah, it just seems like it's too fiat world,
No one
It's
ever took out a loan against their Bitcoin thinking that they'd get liquidated or that the price was going to tank. No one
right.
ever was like, okay, this is probably going to happen. No, you're like, no, it's not going to happen. Bitcoin's going to a million. Why
Yeah,
would
the
it ever go
reason,
back to 50K? No way.
yeah,
But it happens. It happens. So yeah, I don't even like to mess with any of that stuff. Just stay humble, stack sats, and custody my Bitcoin.
yeah, I agree. I mean, the reason those businesses exist is because they do make money off of you, whether your interest payments or because they can take your Bitcoin.
For sure.
No, I mean, if it wasn't a good business, you wouldn't see so many people doing it. So it's goodness. I
The good
think that
alternative, the only native yield opportunity that exists in Bitcoin is found on the Lightning Network.
yeah,
None of these other like L2 things, right? Because if you run a node and you commit Bitcoin to that node and then people use your node, then you essentially get transaction fees, right? That are
yeah,
paid to you, like some kind of interest. So it's completely self-custody and it's not large, like 2%. But then you've
right,
got large node runners, lightning node runners like Square, while in Vegas saying that their node performance, because they've got so many payments routing through Square, they're getting like 8 to 9%
right.
interest back on the Bitcoin that they have committed to the Lightning Network, and it's completely self-custodied.
Yeah,
I just think that's like the largest opportunity because it's like it's in line with Bitcoin's core values, right? Like where does the yield come from? It comes from right there, right? It comes from the transaction fees, like
yeah.
credit
But
card.
that's not even yield, that's a service fee. You're getting paid to be a service provider.
Yeah.
And I think Square, they mentioned they made 1 million, right, at 9%. So they've got almost 10 million locked up in liquidity, and those are big numbers. But
Big numbers. Big numbers. Yeah.
yeah, but I think it's worth thinking about, if you've got a certain amount of Bitcoin that feel comfortable locking it up in a node and running transactions.
You've got to be an enterprise. You've got to be bigger. You've got to be a large holder, and you've got to be like, well, like I could not own Bitcoin and I could have money in a savings account, but that's only going to get me a few percent or, mutual
Right.
funds or whatever. Or like if you're so committed to Bitcoin that you want to see it transition from a store of value to a medium of exchange, you're like, okay, I'm okay getting 2 to 5% back on this Bitcoin in a year because I've got hundreds of Bitcoin and improving the performance of the Lightning Network, right?
Yeah.
Like that feels like a good win-win to me.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. I mean, that's the opportunity.
Yeah,
Um, mhm.
good stuff, man.
Cool, dude. Are you solo mining yet?
Not yet. No, I saw that dude. Someone won a block or if what did they mined a solo.
Yeah, but the
I,
dude had just a gigantic amount of terahash. I think he had
oh,
it was like 70 ASICs or 50 ASICs,
oh,
at about 8 grand a pop. So
okay.
he nearly made back his investment, whoever it was. But
Yeah.
it was, I mean, yeah, he hit a block, but he still hasn't. He's
I
not
didn't
profitable.
know that. I thought it was just a solo miner somewhere, like one little.
He is. He's a solo miner, but it's
No,
not
no,
really
but
one
like
miner.
one miner.
He's got a shit ton of hash. I think it was a yeah, just a 50 or so ASICs. So
Wow. Yeah, it's tough.
that's you know, there's money to be made if you've got enough hash power.
Yeah. Yeah, that's right, man. Um, all right. Any other final thoughts?
No, man, I'm good. Yeah, I think meeting with more plebs in person. I'm talking about starting another meetup in my town.
Yeah,
I'm just got to meet more Bitcoiners.
that's the way. Yeah, I was telling you about maybe organizing something here like a Hawaii Bitcoin Festival.
Yeah.
That'd be a lot of work though. I don't know if I'm equipped to handle that right now, given bandwidth. But I think
Yeah.
it's a good idea, something like that. Even if it's like 10 plebs, even if it's like 10 and or 10 to 20, and you rent a couple houses on the North Shore, and you're like, yo, this is like super casual. It's just Bitcoiners getting together. We all split the cost of the house and the food, and then we're gonna have just different breakout sessions about certain topics, right?
Yeah,
Like,
just get one of your clients to sponsor it,
yeah,
and they can do a quick demo.
yeah,
And there's a guy out in Colorado, Jim Kreider, or he might be in
right.
Wyoming,
I
but
know.
he does that once a year.
Yeah,
And you know, it's good. We gotta be meeting each other and sharing services more often.
for sure, man.
Yeah.
All right, brother. Well, have a good weekend, and I'll see you on Twitter.
All right, man. See you there.